so kind, buddy. Uh, Bryan Fitzpatrick here. I've been selling real estate for 18 years, all with Keller Williams. I am truly unrecruitable. I'll never leave this company. I love what the company stands for. I love the culture. I'm here to stay. So anyway, thanks for having me, Ben. I appreciate it very much. And I kind of wanted to tell a story today. I've been selling real estate for 18 years. Over the years, I've come across many opportunities, and you know, we all have those opportunities. They present themselves all the time, and it's just, are we willing to act on them or not? So over the years, I have acted on some opportunities, and I created a buyer box, and I purchased some rental properties. I've got a portfolio of 5 right now, and uh, that's kind of what I've set up to be my retirement moving forward. Um, so then, there's other opportunities. We have the opportunities to flip properties, but I'm not a flipper. I don't flip homes, right? No, I wouldn't flip homes. I couldn't go through it, right? Well, about 2.5 months ago, 3 months ago, I received a call from a lady, and she was needing to sell her dad's house. That's not just any house. It's a 2-bedroom, 1 bath, half duplex. Not exactly the type of listing that I really want, but it's a listing, and I know that I'm going to be held accountable by my coach Carlos on Tuesday, so I need to take the listing, right? So I get in my car, we set up the appointment, and I head over to meet with this lady, and I knock on the door. And I know a lot of you guys have seen Fast Times at Ridgemont High, right? When Jess Piccoli and his buddies roll up in the van and the smoke comes bellowing out of the van. Well, that's what happened when I knocked on the door. This lady she's a big Marlboro fan, and she opened the door and there's smoke bellowing out, and she's like, "Oh yeah, come on in." I'm like, "Oh great, yeah, I guess I'll walk into your smoky den here." So anyway, we go through the house, and we talked, and we looked at what was important to her, right? And she needed to sell the home. Well, number one, it smelled like an ashtray, and that's going to be difficult to sell, right? So she had cabinets in the kitchen, and they were unpainted. They were new, but they were unpainted. She had someone that had gone through and they put down LVP throughout. But it's kind of a shoddy job, some bad transitions and whatnot. It did not have a dishwasher, and it did not have a disposal. So we kind of talked about, I had looked at numbers, and I knew conservatively what the average 2-bedroom, 1 bath, half duplex would sell for. And I knew that it would sell for about $250,000. Now, these things used to sell for about 60 before the market shift, obviously. But anyway, so I knew that, if it was fixed up, it was ready to go, it would sell for about 260 or 250. And being conservative in my numbers. So I went back and I said, I'm going to prepare a market analysis for you, and then we're going to come back with a game plan, right? So I left smelling like an ashtray. She just trashed my clothes. And I come back the second time, and I let her know that, hey, like, we could go on the market, we could put it out there, but quite frankly, there's quite an odor of smoke as she's got her cigarette hanging out of her mouth, right? And I said, I think that we're going to be hard pressed to find a consumer that's going to want to come in here and take on the sweat equity, especially getting the smoke out of the walls and whatnot. And there's quite a bit of things that need to happen here. So she says, well, why don't we look at some investor offers? And so I said, okay, well, listen, I'm going to go back and I'll run it past some people. We've got some people in our office. We've got some wholesalers that we can talk to and whatnot. And I go back and I come back with some offers for her. These offers, when I came back, I walked back in, and so this is clothes getting trashed for the second time now. And I go sit down and I kind of talk to her about the investor offers. And I let her know that, hey, these are the reason these offers are this way. They have back end closing costs. You know, they've got the ARV and they're going to take a percentage of the ARV. So we were sitting there talking, and she says, okay, well, look, let's reconvene. And so I come back over on a third time, right? And I'm sitting in her offer and in her living room, and she says, hey, listen, I've considered the offers, and I thought there was one that she should absolutely take, right? And it was probably about 170,000, I believe it was. And she goes, Bryan, I brought you over here. I wanted to let you know today, this probably isn't going to work. She goes, I've got an investor that's going to he's offering me $190,000. So we're from $190,000 to $250,000. But really what we need to do is we need to put some paint on this thing. We need to paint the cabinets. You know, there's not a ton that needs to happen. We do need to get the smoke out, right? And so I remember sitting there like, okay, this is the third time that my clothes have been absolutely trashed. And I'm sitting here and you're telling me this isn't going to work. You got somebody that's going to give you $190,000 for this place. And so I remember sitting there and I was like, this is terrible. Like, I'm not going to make a penny on this thing. You know, I've done all this work and I'm not going to make a penny. So I told her, I said, well, listen, you don't know this guy. This is a guy that just approached you, right? But you know me well. I mean, you've trashed my clothes 3 times. You know me. I said, so I tell you what, I'll buy it. I'll buy it for $190,000. And so at that point, I honestly didn't know liquid for $190,000. I don't think we go get a 30-year note for it, right? And so I didn't really know how that process was even going to happen. But I brought her an offer, and I was like, well, we're going to figure this out, right? So I talked to some of the guys at the office, and I ended up talking to a hard money lender. And, you know, they had me go through what's your scope of work, what's your time frame, and lay all that out. But they asked me a few questions, and it was that simple. He goes, yeah, no problem. You're qualified. We're going to find out which loan works best for you. So anyway, I go out and get the loan, and, you know, I'm buying this thing without inspecting. We don't know anything about the house, but it looks like it's pretty solid. I didn't feel anything in the floor as far as foundation. Well, right off the top, we've got foundation issues. We had the foundation guy come out. We've got $3,100 worth of foundation issues, right? So I'm thinking, okay, it's just a number. It's not a big deal, right? $3,100. So we have the foundation repaired. Then we get the plumbing test, and the plumbing test fails. I'm like, the plumbing test failed. All the plumbing in the house has been replaced. It's got blue PEX everywhere. Well, it doesn't have it under the foundation. So now my $15,000 budget's starting to slide up a little bit, right? So I have the plumber come out, and he does an ISO test, right? And he says, we want to go in the living room. We want to cut a 3x3 hole, and then we want to tunnel 10 feet. And I knew where the plumbing came in the house. It was a straight line. And so I knew where it went, but I was like, why are we in the living room and we're going to cut a hole and then tunnel 10 feet? All I could think of is you're going to mess up the LVP. Now I've got to put new flooring in, right? So I talked to my contractor and I said, look, if we tunnel this way 10 feet, we're going to be outside the house. So it can't be that direction. So he's got to be wanting to go through the kitchen to the bathroom wall. And I said, why wouldn't we just remove the tub and go down right here? And this is where it's at. And we can make the repair. So my contractor's a great guy. Little Hispanic guy, works really hard. And he goes, yeah, Mr. Bryan, listen, I can dig her. You know, I can dig her, you know. So he's gonna get in there and he busts up the foundation. Now the plumber had said that the plumbing repair was going to be $6,500. So once again, that budget's getting kind of shot, right? So my contractor says, hey, listen, he's going to take the tub out. We're going to replace the tub. We're going to redo all of the tile in the bathroom, and he's going to do it for $5,500. I'm like, done. Let's do it. So the plumber, come to find out, he didn't really know where that leak was. He was just taking a guess. I think he just wanted to pass everything along the way. But so my guy goes down, he digs, he exposes all the pipes where they all come together, and it's not there. It's not leaking. And I'm like, oh my gosh, what I get into? I'm not a flipper. I don't know why I'm in this, right? So anyway, my guy, he goes, so I called the plumber, a different plumber, and they went in and they isolated it over between the two vanities. Now this is about 8 more feet away from where we've dug a hole. So he goes, oh, Mr. Bryan, I can go down, I can break it up, and I can dig her, I can dig her. And so he digs all the way across. Now I have this bathroom, and this is alarming to me. This is my first flip. And the bathroom, the floor is literally gone. It has no floor, right? And he digs over, and he finds the leak. So we repair it. And then I'm praying like, please let this thing pass. So to make a long story short, we went through, he found the leak, we passed the plumbing test, and we're good to go, right? So we're putting it all back together. So now at this point, I'm like, okay, so we have no plumbing issues. They told me the roof is newer, the air conditioning's been, it's new. And all I do is I wake up every night and I'm like, what's wrong? Something's wrong. Like something's up. Something's up with the roof. The roof's going to need to be replaced. I should have checked it out better, blah, blah, blah. So it's just I think it's just the stress of it being the first one for me, right? So we put it all back together. It looks beautiful. We installed the dishwasher. We've got the disposal. And my son is the lead buyer's agent for my team. And he has somebody. He goes, hey, I've got somebody. I need a property that I can get somebody in. It needs to be kind of cost effective. And I said, well, listen, I was going to go on the market at 265. So I knew 250 was good. It was going to sell at 250, but there was a great opportunity that it could go for 265. It's just the market had shifted a little bit. We just didn't know if it was going to work or not. The property next door had sold at 265. So he comes in, they looked at it before we even went on the market. They loved it at 265. We went through, we closed it, and I ended up making $34,000 on that job. So now it's obviously activated my RAS. So now I'm looking for these. It's like Gary Keller says, he goes, hey, you should walk into each listing and say, should I buy this home? And I literally look at it that way. It's amazing. It's now it's on my radar, right? So those opportunities, you think about it over the years. I know all of us we've run across properties that we could have bought. And we run across properties that we flipped to an investor. But why not us be the investor? So anyway, I'm looking for my next one. If anybody has any, let me know.
Well, so what after hearing that, guys, don't be alarmed by the opportunity. And you say activate the RAS, right? I'm sitting in a room, I've been fortunate, and I'm listening to Gary talk. And this will circle back to opportunity, because no one knows that that Gary Keller owns a hotel. He owns a spa, right? He owns car washes, Alamo Draft House, insurance companies. He owns the largest manufacturer of underwear, in the world. And what he speaks on is just it's opportunity. because we sit here and we think of opportunity, maybe helping buyers and sellers, right? I think there's opportunity everywhere if our eyes are open, right? If we're open to the opportunity. So don't be afraid of opportunity, real estate related or not. Bryan, as we leave, I think it's important that the folks here really know your schedule. And I think it's here at Dallas Preston Road I think it's the one thing that you're famous for. Your work-life balance is unlike any that I know. Your half day Fridays, maybe they were full day Fridays, maybe
Sometimes.
that, you know, once you got rid of the boat. But speak on that briefly, because I think that, you know, I know there's a couple of young people here on the call, and me personally, when I got started in real estate, I was in the business for 3 years before I took off my first Saturday and Sunday. Because I just thought that was a requirement as a real estate professional, right? I thought it was a requirement that I had to put in 10, 12, sometimes 16-hour days, because that's just what I was taught, right? I do think that when you're starting out, sometimes you got to put in the time and the effort, but you know, then you mature. And I think if you don't take time, then you'll burn out. And after about my 3rd year, I was there, right? So speak on that briefly.
Yeah, I think you know, we know what we need to do each day. We know what we need to come to the office. We know the calls that we need to make, and really, Ben, I'm glad you said that, because you know, I know a lot of us have read The Miracle Morning, and I'm on day 3 of my 66 days to form the habit. But my morning has changed. I've started waking up at 5:45. I get a 3-mile walk in or a 10-mile ride each day. I head to the office. I participate in our call hour and whatnot. But what's amazing is that by about 10:30 each day, I'm honestly done. But now I get to work on my business. I mean, I'm not going to end the day at this point, right? But I'm going to work on my business. And the half day Friday thing, I've been doing that for a long time, and that's just kind of a reward for everybody doing their job, and we're on top of everything. We know that each day when we go home, that we've done everything that we can possibly do for that day, and same thing for the week. If we get everything done, and if we're not done, then we're going to work longer. But it normally works out that it's a good half day Friday. And then as far as the weekends, you know, Ben, I haven't worked with a buyer in probably 7 or 8 years. And I just leveraged, you know, so I really don't work weekends, and I kind of hold my appointments to a Monday through Friday, simply because when you think about it, people would take off work to go meet the cable guy, or get the water turned on, or have a dishwasher delivered. This is your largest investment in your life. Surely you can take off Monday through Friday.